Acolyte is a 1x8 mountain bike drivetrain from microSHIFT. I think the best way to explain what is cool and good about this group is to talk about why we decided to make it in the first place. So if you go into any bike shop and look at the high-end mountain bikes, you begin to notice a pattern, and that's everything uses a 1x wide range drivetrain. Now, in an industry where there's no agreement about anything, why is it that almost every company in every case has agreed on this type of drivetrain, on a 1x drivetrain? There are a few different, smaller reasons for that. The chain is shorter, so there's better chain security. It's easier to design suspension kinematics around a single chain ring. Even okay, there's no front derailleur, so maybe you get a little bit of weight savings. But really the primary reason is it's so much simpler. You press one button, it gets easier. You press the other button, it gets harder. And that's all you have to do. When you're trying to clean a new section of trail or clear a double that you've never cleared before, you don't want to be thinking about the shifting. You just want to be focusing on form and technique. And a 1x drivetrain really allows you to do that. Now, if that is the industry standard at all the highest levels of the sport, doesn't it make sense for entry-level riders as well? And so, at microSHIFT, one of our main goals is to take high-end bike technology and make it more attainable. So we thought, hey, here's a great chance to kind of do that and try to bring a 1x technology to a more newer riders. So that's where Acolyte comes in. It's built around an 8-speed 1240 6-tooth cassette. That range is really wide for 8-speed. There are other competitors that have a little bit wider range. They're getting up into 50, 51, 59, there's kind of an arms race around cassette range. We feel like pushing it to 46 is about as far as we want to push an 8-speed cassette. The reason for that is we don't want the jumps between gears to be too big. If they get too big, the shifting quality definitely declines a little bit. And also, it just becomes unpredictable. We want this to be the most predictable, easy to use shifting system that we can deliver. We felt like 1246 range really worked well for that. The crown jewel of the group is the rear derailleur. We developed a brand new chain retention system called Spring Lock, which is a brand new technology for us. On our Advent and Advent X rear derailleurs, we have a ratchet and pawl one-way clutch. And that's what kind of stops the chain from moving up and down too much over rough terrain. For Acolyte, we decided to go in a new direction. The spring lock clutch uses a very linear high tension spring in it. And so that spring is actually what's resisting the movement over rough terrain. That works great when you're on the bike, but when you're off the bike and you want to maybe take off the rear wheel, do a little bit of service, you need to have a way to turn it off. And so on the top of the derailleur, there's a switch. You flip that switch to turn it off. And then to turn it back on, you use a 5mm Allen key. And you turn it about a quarter turn to the right, and you hear an audible click. There's no way to turn it too far, so it's really easy to use. You just turn it, click, and you're good to go. This is really revolutionary for us because it allows us to access a whole new price point for this product, and it still works very well. We've been testing it on all kinds of riding, all kinds of bikes, and performance-wise, in terms of chain retention, we'd put this up against anything. So again, the advantage of that is we can deliver a 1x system without some of that extra complexity that that makes our other systems a little more expensive. Then you get the shifter. The shifter, again, the whole idea behind this is to make it simple and easy. And so we decided to do a shifter that has a separate trigger for an index and thumb lever. And the reasoning behind that is it's just easier to keep them straight. If you have an index shifter and that goes one direction, the thumb goes the other direction, there's nothing really to explain. It also has a visible gear indicator, which is not something that we do on our Advent or Advent X group. Again, that's just because of sort of the entry-level nature of the product. We want people to be really comfortable knowing kind of what range of the gearing they're in, and the gear indicator helps them do that. The shifter still has the same super positive action, light action, but a positive click that has kind of become microSHIFT's calling card. So again, we feel like it performs at a really high level and kind of completes the group. Now, the group is compatible with just about any 8-speed chain. There's not a lot of variation in 8-speed chains, so really anything will work. And that's really all you need to get going on a bike. Now, the last question is sort of, who is this product for? Who would ride this? And we want to give a specific answer to that, but really at the end of the day, almost anybody could ride this. If you don't care so much about having a lot of gears in between, you just want bigger jumps, but still having a wide range, 8-speed could be right for you. Similarly, if you're just a new rider starting out, you're putting together a bike, maybe you got a bike that came with a triple, you want to convert it to a single ring, but hey, this is a great way to kind of dip your toes into that water and see if you like it or not. Also for converting older bikes, if you have an old 8-speed bike and you kind of want to keep some of that same flavor, but have a 1by drivetrain, well, hey, Acolyte might be right for you.